What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Black Ops 6. And in today's episode, we're going to be covering the ABR A1 assault rifle. And interestingly with this gun, it's basically two guns in one, because by default, it's a 3-round burst assault rifle. However, when you put the rapid fire attachment on, instead of just increasing the fire rate, it just straight up converts it to full auto with a slightly different damage profile and everything. So we will be looking at that right after I cover the stats for the base version of this, which again is a 3-round burst. And with our damage, it's going to be a 4 to 5 shot kill to the body, meaning we can't get a 1 burst kill unless we get headshots mixed in there. And our base headshot multiplier is 1.35, meaning at any range we need 2 headshots mixed in with body shots to reduce the number of shots to kill. However, we can improve that, of course, with the CHF barrel, which boosts our headshot multiplier to the point where we now only need 1 headshot mixed in with body shots to cut that down, meaning in the maximum damage range, we can get a 1 burst kill with just 1 single headshot mixed in with that barrel. As for a rate of fire, keep in mind this is based on hand testing and therefore there is some room for variance, but it's at least going to be very close to the actual rate of fire values. This is 682 rounds per minute within the burst and then a roughly 115 millisecond burst delay. And what this means is with a 4-shot kill, we've got quite a slow time to kill potential at 379 milliseconds because it does take that second burst. So that's not great. However, if you manage to get a 1 burst kill with headshots mixed into the equation, we can kill in 176 milliseconds, which is incredibly fast. Next, let's look at our ranges, and our 4-shot kill potential will extend out to just below 35 meters. And that's a fairly standard range drop-off point for an assault rifle. And it is worth noting our bullet velocity is 700 meters per second, giving us a hit scan range at exactly 35 meters. And again, that's pretty close to standard for an assault rifle in this game. However, we can significantly boost our bullet velocity with the gain twist barrel that gives us a 45% boost to our velocity. Or we could go with the long barrel for a 45% boost to our range, but no boost to our velocity. Or of course, we can go with a combination with the reinforced barrel for a 20% boost to both our range values and our velocity values. And I do like the balance there, so if I am going to be choosing one of these barrels, it's usually going to be the reinforced barrel. Then for hardcore game modes, as long as you're using the burst version of the ABR A1 and not the full auto version, this will always be a 1 bullet kill to the body at any range unless you're shooting through some form of cover. So it is quite powerful in hardcore game modes, like most of the guns in the game. After that, let's take a look at our Hipfire, and we don't have the greatest Hipfire here. It is a little bit worse than average for the assault rifle category, and especially in burst mode, you generally want to be avoiding Hipfire. You want to get yourself as accurate as possible, because you can't really afford to be missing a bunch of shots and taking several bursts to get a kill. As for our recoil, as you can see here in burst mode, there's really not that much recoil. There's a little bit of vertical climb within each burst, and there's definitely a gap between the first and second shot fired. So that is something to be aware of, and that's why I like the ported compensator on this if I am going for peak accuracy in burst mode, because it really helps with that first shot recoil especially. And if we put the CHF barrel on this, it does increase our recoil and especially that first shot jump. But after that first shot jump, it's still pretty accurate. It's still got a nice tight grouping there. So definitely a viable option, I would say, especially since you only need 1 headshot when using the CHF barrel. Then let's take a look at our handling stats, and our aim down sight time is solid for an assault rifle at 240 milliseconds. Same thing with our sprint to fire time. This is quite good for an assault rifle, definitely better than average at 170 milliseconds, whereas our slide to fire and dive to fire times are both pretty standard for an assault rifle at 370 milliseconds and 450 milliseconds respectively. As for our reload add time, this is 1.55 seconds by default, which isn't bad. It's pretty standard for an assault rifle. However, we can of course change that with our magazines. We can get a faster reload with either the flip mag or fast mag 1, and you actually get a really fast reload with fast mag 1 at just 0.85 seconds. That's incredible. Or you could increase your magazine capacity for a slower reload time with the extended mag attachments. But then finally, for the base stats for the ABR, let's have a look at our mobility stats, and across the board, these are pretty much just standard. Although our base walking speed is a bit on the faster side for assault rifles, everything else is pretty much just standard. And now that we have that out of the way, we can finally move into the rapid fire attachment, which, just a reminder, that does convert it to full auto. However, this also adds an additional damage range drop-off, so it now becomes a 6-shot kill at longer ranges. As for a rate of fire, this is the same rate of fire that we were experiencing within each burst with the ABR. It's just now, with it being full auto, we obviously don't have a burst delay to deal with. And what this means is our time to kill potential is very noticeably better. Our 4-shot time to kill is just 264 milliseconds, which is a great time to kill for an assault rifle in this game. In fact, that's pretty close to the average time to kill up close of the SMGs, so really not bad there at all. And even at long range with a 6-shot kill, we're still killing faster than the burst version of this gun at 440 milliseconds. and we do maintain that same time to kill potential with headshots at just 176 milliseconds. Then for our ranges with rapid fire, we have the exact same 4-shot kill potential. However, now beyond about 46 meters, this is where it becomes a 6-shot kill. Whereas without this, it's still going to maintain a 5-shot kill potential there. And it is also worth noting we do lose some bullet velocity here. With rapid fire, our new bullet velocity is 630 meters per second, giving us a slightly worse hit scan range. Additionally, in hardcore game modes, beyond that roughly 46 meter range, it will now be a 2-shot kill to the body. However, a headshot will still be a 1-shot kill at those ranges. And then finally, for the full auto mod, let's have a look at our recoil. And as you can see here, there isn't much magnitude of your vertical recoil. It doesn't kick up a whole lot. However, it is worth noting, we do have some pretty extreme cuts left and right with horizontal recoil, and that can definitely throw you off. So it's absolutely something to consider when using this in full auto. It might not look like much recoil, but it can fight you pretty hard sometimes. And outside of that, all of the other stats like handling, mobility, reload times, everything like that is identical while using rapid fire. It's just these stats that it changes. And with all of that out of the way, we can finally get into some excellent attachment combinations. And the first one I wanted to share is just my balanced burst build. Personally, I actually prefer this gun in full auto, so the other two builds will both be full auto builds, but I did want to make sure I was sharing a burst one for you guys. And with this, we're using the ported compensator. That one is the best for recoil when using this in burst. We've got the Ranger foregrip to help a bit with horizontal recoil, but also to help with our sprint speed so we can get around a little bit faster. We have the ergonomic riser, which improves our aim down sight speed, slide to fire time, and dive to fire time. We also have the combat pad on here, which helps a bit with our aim walking speed, but it also helps with flinch. And that's nice when you're using a burst gun and just really trying to stay on target. Not that this gun has a lot of flinch by default, it's just nice to improve that a little bit more. And then finally, we're topping this off with recoil springs, just because I want this to be as accurate as possible. And that actually reminds me, I haven't mentioned it yet, you also do get a free optic on this. It is a red dot optic. You don't have to spend an attachment slot on this, and it is a nice clean optic. And we can see the recoil with this build is nice and tight. That should be no issue for you, unless you're looking at really extreme ranges. So there we go, that's the first build if you're looking to use a burst option. Next, let's have a look at my full auto stealth build. And with this, we're of course using that rapid fire attachment to get full auto. We're also using the suppressor to stay off the radar, the reinforced barrel for a nice boost to our range and velocity values, the ergonomic riser for a faster ADS, slide to fire, and dive to fire time, and then finally the infiltrator pad so we can strafe in gunfights as effectively as possible. And with this one, we've just got a nice balance of stats. It's good for getting around the map fairly quickly. Our time to kill potential is awesome as long as we're staying in that 4-shot kill range, which is boosted with the reinforced barrel here, so most of your gunfights should fall within that range. And the only real issue here is there is a bit of horizontal recoil that you're going to have to deal with, but as long as you're prepared for that, it's not that bad, and I just wouldn't recommend using this at extremely long ranges. And that one's kind of my go-to if I'm not using the Gunfighter wildcard. However, with Gunfighter, let's have a look at that one. As you can see, we are once again using rapid fire, so it is a full auto build. I have the Merlin Mini optic on there, largely because I had a spare slot. I didn't want to put a laser on this, and therefore I just thought I'd put a slightly different optic on. We've got the compensator on there as well. This is going to be a very accurate build. We also have the long barrel for boosted range values, the vertical foregrip for a nice horizontal recoil control, extended mag 2, this is going to be kind of like an LMG here, although it has really fast assault rifle level handling, because we have the ergonomic riser and the infiltrator pad on this as well. So this kind of feels like a highly mobile LMG that you can really be aggressive with, but you can also just hang back and stretch out your ranges too and be quite accurate with a solid time to kill output. And with that, that's finally going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the ABR A1. As for my thoughts on this gun, when it comes to the standard burst mode, I don't really like it all that much. I just feel like that time to kill potential is too slow unless you manage to get a 1 burst, and that just makes it far too inconsistent if you don't manage to get the 1 burst kill. So as I've said, I do prefer using this in full auto, which immediately burns an attachment, but even with that in mind, I really do like this gun in full auto. It is a solid option. It can absolutely compete with some of the better guns in this game. I don't think I'd go so far as to say it's the best assault rifle in the game or anything, but it's up there. It can definitely hold its own. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts on this new gun, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about it? Are you guys generally enjoying this one, or maybe not so much? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.